Alright, folks, so you guys may or may not know someone by the name of Kristi Winters. She's a feminist who debated Sargon of Akkad. And so there are a lot of people who like Kristi Winters, but the truth about Kristi Winters is she is not good at all, not even close. And you're going to see why here, and it's really insufferable. You know, this isn't my first time seeing the video, so, a lot of my just cringe is not going to be here the second time around. But, this is extremely cringe, so if you haven't seen this video yet, I recommend putting on your hazmat suits, because you're really gonna be shocked by just how ridiculous this video is. But this video is titled "Why I Will Never Vote for Bernie in the Dem Primary." So of course talking about Bernie Sanders, the Democratic primary. She's someone who supported Hillary Clinton back in 2016. She is a never burner. She says she'll vote for Bernie in the general election. But, you can kind of tell already what her position is going to be based off of all the information I just gave you. You kind of know what kind of a person this is going to be. She says she's a feminist. I don't really see how you could possibly actually be a feminist if you support someone like Hillary Clinton, considering the things that she's done around the world. Her foreign policy is done around the world, affecting women and children in other countries. I really don't see, Henry Kissinger being like your go-to guy. Come on, bruh. Like, you see, how you gonna, you're a feminist? Yeah, right. So, this is the video. We're gonna, jump in as we go through this. But, let's go ahead.
Supporters. First and foremost, I want a Democrat to be president. And that means having a history with the party and having a commitment to the party's values. Because I don't vote for a person. Like, yes, I vote for Barack Obama, but I don't keep following Barack Obama after he left office. He took up the mantle of the party and carried that forward. And he strengthened the party and carried that forward. And he lifted up other Democrats and he carried that forward. And that's what I'm looking for in the leader of my party.
So Barack Obama actually, he lost over 1,000 seats under his presidency. So he didn't really do a very good job of leadership. So you probably want to look at who you're choosing, because they don't seem to be doing very well as Democratic leadership, because they kept losing everything after like the first 2 years. They couldn't win jack.
Someone who is actually committed to and knows the people in my party and is willing to strengthen it, wants to see a Democratic majority in the House and the Senate and in the White House. Not just...
Look, so obviously, Bernie's going to want a Democratic majority. Obviously, that's who the people who are most likely to pass his stuff. Now, all Democrats won't vote for his stuff. Like Joe Manchin, for example, is not going to vote for his stuff. We're talking about the party of Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and Joe Manchin. Here's what we're talking about. We're talking about a party that screwed over Bernie Sanders and rigged the primaries against him last time. And you're telling me that you want Bernie Sanders to want to build that party, to know people inside of the party? Like, what kind of stuff? That's literally just, you're just going to get an insider establishment shill is what you're going to get. You're going to get a Pete Buttigieg, who you're going to get, who's like, he had a bunch of meetings, with the DNC, and he's courting super delegates. That's the kind of guy you're going to get. And I feel like that's the type of guy Kristi Winters would be for, because she's stupid, really dumb. But this is just unbelievable. And to think that this is the, what seems to be the biggest argument against Bernie. I mean, I just find it to be remarkable.
For him or herself. So on that basis, how do I eliminate possible candidates from my selection choice? Well, a damn easy one is looking around to see who isn't a Democrat. And you guys might not think that that's important. Your ideology might be all about the revolution, whether it's an anarchist revolution or a communist revolution or a socialist revolution or a green revolution. I know that's important to you. What is important to me as a voter in the Democratic primary is electing someone who actually is a Democrat. And Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat. He's never been a Democrat. He is not a loyal party member. He is not helping the party. He has not put himself out there to grow the party.
Two things here. Is it true that Bernie is not a Democrat? He's an independent. Yes. Guess what? That makes him even better. Do you want to know why? It's because the Democratic Party sucks. The Democratic Party is a massive pile of garbage. They're a massive pile of garbage. Under Obama, they lost over 1,000 seats. Hillary Clinton just lost the election. You're talking about having Tom Perez over Keith Ellison. You're talking about Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, Chuck Schumer, now I guess the minority leader in the Senate of the Democrats. That's your leadership. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was, I think, the chairwoman of the DNC. This is the party you're talking about, the party who rigged the election against him. That's a good thing. The Democratic Party is funded by a lot of the same companies that the Republican Party is funded by. They're a bunch of corporate shills just like the Republicans are. Now, are the Democrats like a lot better than Republicans? Of course. But in large part, they're funded by those same corporations. They have the same interests. And so the logic of he's not a Democrat, that's a bad thing. The fact that he's not a Democrat is amazing. That's a great thing. That's a massive plus. Because you know what? The Democratic Party is a heaping pile of garbage. Pura basura. Straight trash. Okay? I hate the Democratic Party. It's garbage. Do I want to see the Democratic Party be better? Yes. 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 I want to see people like AOC in the Democratic Party. I want to see people like Ilhan Omar in the Democratic Party because I want it to be better. That's what I want. So to paint it as if someone just wants it to go down in flames or whatever is ridiculous. But the second point there is Bernie not helping the party. How is Bernie not helping the party? Someone who's going to get tons of new voters, young people, millions of young people to vote, register to vote as Democrats. And typically when you go to vote for president, you're going to go down the list in terms of party lines, and that's Democrats. So you're getting votes for all the other Democrats that are running in their area and on the national level. So the idea that Bernie's not, he would win the election for president of the United States. He would be president. You're talking about continuing the Justice Dems going on as well. You're talking about, getting millions of young new people in the votership. That's what you're talking about. So if anything, Bernie's like the best gift you could have ever asked for. You're just too stupid to know that because you're a complete moronic imbecile who's got an IQ score of like 2, maybe. That's being a little bit generous at this point.
Bernie Sanders, if you guys didn't know this, in his home state, the way he gets elected as an independent is that in the first instance, he runs as a Democrat in the Democratic primary. And then he beats whatever Democratic candidate he is going up against. When he wins the Democratic primary, he then renounces the party and runs as an independent. Now, if he just ran as an independent the whole time, that would be something, but I find it particularly galling that he would appropriate our primary structure in order to eliminate anyone who might be a competitor on his left. And
what? First of all, appropriate? Come on, stop using that word. And secondly, are you serious? Oh my gosh, I'm so offended you would appropriate my party's primary structure. What are you talking about? What does that even mean? That doesn't mean anything. You just made that up. What are you saying? And she just said on his left. Motherfucker, Bernie Sanders is the most left-wing Democrat out there. There's no Democrat more left-wing than Bernie Sanders, okay? The Democrats are not putting up someone more left than him. And he's beating the person in an election. So I don't even know what you're whining about. He won the election. You think he's going to lose either way in Vermont? Vermont, VT? He's not losing in Vermont. But, who cares? He won the election against a Democrat, and then he becomes an independent. But this this faux, oh, I'm so offended. Oh, it's so, what's wrong with you, dude? What's wrong with you? How, what goes on in someone's brain to be so, just mentally incapable of just basic thought process. I don't know what to tell you, man. How could you possibly be so ridiculous?
And then renounces the party, leaving us essentially without, anyone who can stand as a Democrat in the general. That is not someone who grows the party. And again, you guys might not think...
How does that not grow the party? I don't understand. How does him caucusing with the Democrats for everything and virtually siding with the Democrats on pretty much everything, how does that not help the party? He went to places to campaign for Hillary Clinton that she didn't even go to herself. He went to places like Wisconsin, where she was too elite to even step her foot in. Okay? That's the person you're talking about not helping the party, your garbage party that's a complete dumpster fire. What are you talking? You're just making all this up.
I think that's important, and that's fine. But for me, it is important that we have a Democrat lead the Democratic Party. And on the basis of the fact that he was not a Democrat, he actually undermined the Democratic primary structure. He's attacked the...
How did he undermine the Democratic primary structure? He beat the candidate. How's that undermining it? Undermining the primary structures is rigging it from the jump. Like Hillary's in cahoots with the DNC and saying, yo, let's do 6 debates instead of like 24 like there normally are. You know, let's have less polling places in Bernie's areas. You know, let's feed Hillary Clinton questions before the debates. Are you serious? You have the gall to talk about Bernie supposedly undermining a primary structure. Oh man, these people are insane.
The Democratic Party many times, and he basically like doesn't seem to have anything positive ever to say about the Democratic Party. Or
it's because the Democratic Party literally rigged him of a fair election. They literally cheated him out of a fair election. How are you gonna have something positive to say? Moreover, he's actually nicer than he needs to be. For some reason, Hillary fans never take into account that there were Bernie fans who were pissed off that he endorsed Hillary Clinton in 2016. They don't care, though. They just act like that doesn't exist and he didn't have anything to lose there. As if there weren't people who are going to be like, oh, you're a sellout, Bernie, oh, like dummies like that. They act as if those people don't exist. Like, he took a risk there for Hillary Clinton, a horrible candidate, went in campaign areas Hillary didn't even go to. Again, he's way too nice to the Democratic Party. Way too nice.
What it's doing, or the principles of it as an institution, as a structure, right? I don't really think that he should be the leader of it. And so when I've got 10 candidates in front of me, like 10 reasonable candidates, you know, the rest of them are pretty marginal, at 1% or lower, then an easy disqualifier for me is, well, you're not really a Democrat. And so that is, it's not like...
That's a positive for me.
The most important reason, but it's a big reason. As a political scientist, it drives me crazy that Bernie Sanders claims he's a socialist, but essentially all his policies are just making capitalism a little nicer and a little more mild. And that's not socialism. The alternative to capitalism isn't nicer capitalism, if you understand my meaning. Like, what do you critique capitalism with if your version of socialism is just about a universal basic income or redistributing the way that we tax capitalism? Oh, I can't even tell you how frustrating I find it when he is out there basically appropriating the term socialism, which already is tainted in America, and he's selling it as essentially just a nicer, it's capitalism with a human face. It's capitalism with, you know, a higher minimum wage and a different tax structure for the wealthy. That's not socialism. And so even if I supported like public ownership of all things, which I don't, I'm not about the revolution. I'm not about having anarchy. Sorry, guys. I would like to see progressive change in America, and I would like us to essentially move to a position where we could be kind of a version like, you know, the American version of the Social Democrats. And I think getting really progressive Democrats elected across the country, not like, we're socialists and we're going to, like, you know, eliminate private health insurance. That won't get elected. But slowly, if we expand Obamacare and we put in more competition, we harness, instead of, we put more constraints on healthcare in terms of their profitability and who they have to cover and how they pay for their drugs, all that kind of stuff, we can get to a place where we have the benefits of a lot of European countries.
Where do I even start there? This makes no sense whatsoever. There is no sense. My brain cells were dying as I was listening to that. So what she's saying is, again, the word appropriate in there again, super cringe, this really faux, like, oh, like this weird, like, I'm offended type thing about everything. She's saying Bernie is appropriating the term socialism. She then states that Bernie's not a socialist, he's a capitalist. And she says she's also a capitalist, but she's not going to vote for him because he's appropriating the term socialism. So in other words, she, like Bernie, is not a socialist. They're both capitalists who want a higher minimum wage, but she's not supporting him because he's appropriating the term socialism. None of this makes any sense. What she's saying is she agrees with his overall capitalism and not socialism, but she's not supporting him because he appropriates the term social. And notice the little, like, you know, the the sort of appeal to I forgot what it's called. Where she's saying, as a political scientist, like, come on, bro. Come on, dude. It's just, it's appeal to authority, is sorry what it was. But it's just ridiculous to me. None of this makes any sense. By the way, the human capitalism thing, that's Andrew Yang's framing. So is the UBI. Bernie's not even for UBI, which I actually don't agree with. I think he should be for UBI. But he's not even for that. So clearly she doesn't even know. But the whole video, and that's basically it. This is all of her reasoning. And then she answers the question as to whether or not she would vote for him in the general election as someone who lives in Wisconsin. She says yes. But the thing is that it is remarkable to me that you could have you're not going to vote for somebody, and none of them are on policy positions at all. She didn't name a single policy position she disagreed with. Like, it's one thing if you came to talk about Bernie Sanders, you're like, you know what? I don't like Bernie because I'm like Amy Klobuchar. I think we should keep Obamacare in place and all this. She doesn't even do that. Well, I guess at the end she kind of tacks that on. But it's just crazy to me, dude. Like, are you serious? The reason why you're not supporting Bernie is because he's appropriating the term socialism? What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. What? What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with your head to be thinking like this? This is not the thought process of a rational person. The way you rationally look at someone is basically, hey, look, this person stands for these positions. Do I agree with them? Yes or no? That's the way I look at it. So Bernie's Medicare for all, free college education, etc., etc., etc. I look at all that stuff. I'm like, yo, I like those policies. He also doesn't take any corporate money. So I'm like, wow, he's going to be representing me and not, the lobbyists and the rich. He's not going to be representing Raytheon. He'll be representing me. That's pretty awesome. I think we could all really use a president that represents us and not them, right? Those are all things I look at. But apparently she just looks at, he's not a Democrat. He's not a Democrat. And then they're like, appropriating the word socialism. What are you even saying at this point, dude? Just delete your account. Delete your YouTube channel. Just delete all of your accounts. Delete everything. You do not deserve to be on any of these platforms. You are so incredibly stupid that I don't know if I've ever seen a video dumber than this in my entire life. I know I say that a lot, but I challenge you. I mean, just I guess maybe Zerlina Maxwell or one of the other morons. She would fit well at MSNBC is what I would say. But this is just, this is mind-boggling. It hurts my head physically, brings me down, brings down my faith in humans and mankind. Because, wow, this is so bad. So bad. So horrible. She does not, oppose Bernie based on real positions. It's just a bunch of garbage. And people like this, I have zero respect for. No respect for. Not even close. Anyways, I hope that you did not perish due to all of that insane cringe. This video got a little bit longer than I thought it would go. But, I hope you made it out.